Hi, welcome to Bee's Kitchen. Today we're going to be making sauteed kale with grape tomatoes. And it's a recipe that I came up with because kale got real popular and it's very healthy. And it was easier than making the full labor-intensive greens that I grew up on. So for this recipe we need Sautéed kale, grape tomatoes, sweet Vidalia onions, olive oil, red pepper flakes, black pepper, sea salt, and garlic. First, I wanted to show you how I do this kale. This is the Sautéed kale, and you can see from this kale that it's darker and not as curly as the typical green kale. So this has already been prepared, but what I do is it's been washed. I cut it. Okay, I rip the bottom of the kale off, and then you turn it upside down or inside out, holding like the dark side, and then just rip this off as you hold the greens. And it's just an easy way. From halfway down, you do that, and then you hold this, and you rip out the veins. And you want that crunchy part out. It just doesn't, I don't care for it. There may be people that do. I prefer it without them. And sometimes they can be very heavy. And then I'm piling the kale, the leaf by leaf. And this is a demonstration on just how this kale can be cut down like this is in this bowl. And an easy way to do it. So it's not belaboring. So now that I've layered the kale on top of one another, let's move the garlic out of the way. Here we go. And now I'm going to roll it. Like you would anything, just roll it. And then from that roll, we cut. Don't worry, my knuckles are in the way of my fingertips. They're further ahead than my fingertips. Learned that in culinary school. But look how much we got out of that. We add this to the bowl of already prepared kale. And I'm just gonna slice because I don't want a real strong garlicky taste. So I find that it's best just to cut the garlic in half and then make small slices. And this garlic is gonna be cooked. So the good news is it won't be a strong garlicky taste, but a nice soft garlicky taste. And I believe it looks nice as well. And I typically buy the garlic already peeled. It's just too much, it's too cumbersome to try to peel garlic. And I buy the full bulbs when I'm making hummus or something where I want a sweet garlicky taste. And roasted garlic to me is sweet, but I love it. I can just eat it on bread. Something that I love unbelievably. And now that we have to watch carbs, it doesn't work as well as it used to for me. But I found some substitutes. But this is one of my favorite recipes, and some days this is all I'll eat in a day. With, of course, a glass of wine. So we have the garlic. I should have prepared this more for you. We'll put the garlic in the dish. And now we're going to move over to the stove. Okay, I have a pan heating up. And I'm going to put a little oil in it, olive oil. And then I'm going to add the onions. The garlic, give it a minute, coat it all with the garlic. And I have my heat at like medium, just a little bit above that. I have a darn electric stove and I prefer gas because I can control the heat better. And now we're going to add the kale. And what I do is I toss the kale to coat it with the olive oil. I might do this better with a spoon. I don't know. I'm not having much luck here. Yeah, I like that better. You know, I've never given kid cooking lessons before. I just cook. So I have to take it, there's another element, and that's you guys. So I find that when I'm learning, let's put it like that. Now let's add the rest, the remaining. I know. Let's push all this over. Add a bit more olive oil. Because you want to coat all the greens. And then put these on this side. This is a little trick I learned. You half the skillet in half. Here we go. Put that over there. Now we have all the greens in. Now let's take the greens that were already starting their journey and cover the new greens with those. It's an easy way when you use greens because you know how they shrink up. I do it all the time with spinach or anything that shrinks up a lot because it has so much moisture in it. And look at what we have already. It's on medium heat. Not bad. And I like this pan, and you'll see why when I add the tomatoes. It works best. Now we're going to add black pepper and generous, as you can see. Red pepper, not so generous unless you like spicy. I love spicy, so I'm adding a little bit more. And salt, and I'm using kosher salt here. And we're going to mix again. This is one of the easiest recipes and so delicious. Now I'm going to turn the fire down a little lower so it sautés itself. And I'm going to add just a tinge of water. And that tinge of water is just going to help it steam a bit. And when I say tinge, I'm talking about less than a quarter of a cup. And now we cover it. And in 10 minutes we'll stir again. Okay, greens are done. See how they shrunk? And I used 2 bunches for this recipe. Now we drop in, turn off the flame, drop in tomatoes, grape tomatoes, and you have a side dish. A delicious side dish, I may add. Let's add a couple more because they're sweet, just like the sweet onions. And kale is bitter. So adding the sweet tomatoes and the sweet onions neutralizes the bitterness of the kale. And there's your dish. Let's move it away from the flame. And just let it rest. And it's done. Thank you for watching and enjoy.